Now I know why they give you extra screws. Okay, so I'll say since doing this YouTube thing, it's been a little over a month now, going on 2 months. My two favorite things so far, just from this experience, has got to be the interaction with you guys. I love interacting with you guys. On my last video that I just uploaded that dealt with like the acoustic treatment in my room and whatnot, there was a ton of good tips from you guys. I actually had people from all over the world commenting like tips and some advice on my acoustic treatment in my room. There's a huge like hump at like 120 hertz on my SonarWorks graph, and a lot of people kind of clarified that that's for my desk, and that's a very common thing. That's something that I didn't know. So it's awesome to me that I'm learning things from you guys from all around the world. Surely you guys can tell by now, but I'm not a professional. I'm by no means am I a professional. I am really into this stuff though, and I'm really into learning. So I'm game to hear any opinions or any kind of like facts or anything you guys want to share with me on this stuff. I love that part of this whole YouTube thing. The second part that I love about YouTube is like all of this, making the videos and everything. Just first of all, as a creative, it's just extremely satisfying to make this. Like I have a little project or two that I do every week. It's awesome. It's been scratching the musical itch I have as well, because it seems like, you know, playing guitar or making like little demo songs or whatever for the YouTubes it's giving more meaning to the music that I make by myself. It has a purpose now. I'm not just doing it for nobody. I'm doing it for you guys. Right now we have almost 400 subscribers, which is awesome. Thank you guys so much for that support. I hope that the channel continues to grow and that I continue to learn stuff from you guys and that the interacting just continues to grow. I'm kind of becoming addicted to it. So thank you guys so much for that support. Please do go ahead and smash the like button on this video just before we get started. I'm going to talk about the way I want to invest in all of this in 2021. So like I said, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I will say something that like kind of gave me this idea to do this video. Last night, a friend of mine and I were just chilling in the studio. I was in my office chair, and I leaned back, and the back literally just breaks. This isn't usable. So I ordered a chair last night, and then also, like at the beginning of the video, I showed you these guitar hangers that I'm putting up. I'm trying to like set the vibe of the room, kinda. I'm trying to kind of work on a YouTube backdrop. So all this had me thinking, there's going to be several ways that I want to invest in the studio. There are things I'm just not crazy about. There's some moves I'm wanting to make. Some things that need to change, some things that need to finish. There's just a lot of stuff that needs to happen with the studio. So I thought, you know what? There's some things that I kind of have some questions about too. I want to know what you guys think. So I'm going to make a video on this and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to ask you guys what your opinion is on some stuff that I'm looking to get, some gear that I'm looking to acquire. So just for my convenience, I did break down everything that I want to do in a list, and then the list is huge now. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, this YouTube thing, this whole home studio that I have, it's not just a music studio anymore. It's a YouTube studio where I also make music, or a music studio where I also make YouTube videos. So I need to invest in both of those things. So a big deal with YouTube is obviously like the audio quality. If your audio quality sucks on your videos, if you don't sound good in your mic, if you don't sound good, whatever, people are way less forgiving of bad audio quality than they are bad video quality. And I don't necessarily have bad either, but like if I want to like invest in the studio and step it up, then you know I need to step it up. Something I'm really looking into getting is a Shure SM7B. I know that there will probably be some comments about the Rode Pod mic, and I think that's awesome. However, the Rode Pod mic, in my opinion, isn't necessarily an upgrade from what I have. There are some people who say it's very comparable to the SM7B, and some people may like it better than this. I'm currently using the Audio-Technica 2035. But in my opinion, like, it is just, the Shure SM7B is a legendary microphone. If nothing else, people are just so used to the way that it sounds that it has become like the standard for voiceovers, and then it also works on a ton of different vocalists for like music stuff. So there's really no reason for me not to have a Shure SM7B. When I do get that, if you guys want to see a mic shoot out of this versus an SM7B, let me know, because I can't remember how much I gave for this, but I know it's significantly cheaper than the Shure SM7B, and I don't think there are any videos online of people shooting out this mic versus the SM7B. I know that also, I don't know if you guys have noticed this because it may not even be that big of a deal, but I use pretty much the same 3 or 4 songs for like background music on my channel. One of those songs is gonna be playing right now. I'm kind of looking into maybe getting a subscription to some kind of music service that will give me more stuff to choose from, because there's plenty of like non-copyrighted music online on YouTube and stuff, but they're not always the best. And some of them are good, but I mean, you kind of get lost in some of the cheesiness and some of the music, in my opinion. But yeah, the music for the videos isn't necessarily a priority for me, as nearly as much so as like getting a quality microphone that I know is gonna like stand the test of time. Yeah, no, this sounds okay, so that may not be the first thing I do, but I definitely want to up the audio quality in 2021. Another thing that I'm kind of concerned with, that I'm not necessarily concerned with it, because this is fine, this is okay, and maybe even a more sensible thing to upgrade this would be for another lens for this camera, and just to make my life even easier, more batteries for this camera, or like a charging dock for all my batteries and stuff. I'm still just plugging the camera in and letting it charge. But I am considering maybe a new camera. I have currently the Sony a6000. If you know anything about the Sony a6000, it is one of the renditions of the Alpha series. And my biggest beef with this camera is that I don't think like the quality of it is nearly as good as some other ones that I've used from the Alpha series. But it has no kind of like flip screen or flip out screen, so I can see myself. Especially whenever I'm doing like videos of me playing guitar or whatever, it takes me forever to set the shot, just because like I can't see what I'm doing when the camera moves. For these kind of talking stuff, it's not nearly as bad because I kind of have it sat in one spot, but it would be way easier in my opinion if I could just flip up a screen, look right into the camera, see what I'm looking at, and adjust the thing. But even better than that, like the Canon cameras, they have some kind of like camera link app for your computer, and it's super duper simple. I mean, like you literally have like the USB into your computer, and then you can see everything that your camera sees on your computer. You can set the shot, you can hit start, everything. So I'm seriously looking into switching to a Canon just because it is significantly like more user friendly. So with that, I definitely have considered switching over to like a Canon camera from the Sony camera. Like I said, yeah, maybe looking into a different lens would be a more affordable option for this. And I ordered an attachment that's like a mirror, so you can see what the camera sees on top of the camera. So maybe that'll be helpful. We'll see where we end up with that. I don't know if a new camera is necessarily the best way to invest in video quality for the channel, because there's things like lighting. So I have this light attached right here. I have one more of these lights. This is just a softbox light, so I think 5000K bulb, if that means anything to anyone. I have these 2 rice paper lamps right beside me. I'm gonna look into some like overhead lighting, different light bulbs for the overhead lights, because these are super like ugly. They just make everything really ugly. They didn't make the room way more like yellow and red than it needs to be. So I'm definitely gonna look into some more lighting. I feel like that would probably be a good first step to change some of the lights in the room. Also, my B-roll is horrible because my camera shakes like a mug. So I'm probably gonna look into some kind of gimbal for my camera, or maybe like a gimbal for my phone camera. This is the iPhone 12. It can shoot in 4K 60 FPS, and that actually looks really, really good. So I may do a gimbal for that. I think that probably be more affordable, and then I could just kind of like airdrop my B-roll onto my computer for editing. So that may be the move. Let me know what you guys think about that. Should I get a gimbal for my Sony a6000, or should I get a gimbal for my iPhone 12? The backdrop that I have here. So like I said, I did hang up my 3 guitars. I'd originally thought about doing like a zigzag pattern with my guitars, because I have one more hanging right here. I have 3 more right there, and then those 3 guitars. So I had seriously considered like the zigzag pattern, but I thought that may be a little chaotic with the drum set, and I also don't want any guitars super close to the drums. And I'm also going to end up putting an acoustic panel right there, and then another one right there, and then probably one on this wall right there. Just for acoustic reasons for the drums. I think that having it a little more dead around that area would probably lead to a beefier drum sound, but we'll talk about all that whenever we're talking about investing in the music studio part. Let me know what you guys think about the video backdrop. I'm not feeling it yet, but like I said earlier, I'm trying to make a vibe in the studio, and it's not really a vibe yet. We'll do a pan of the studio. It's not vibey yet. We're working on it. We're in an old barn place, like I said last video. It's okay though. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a vibe. Leave it to me. I can do a vibe thing. Finally, for like video quality and audio quality and just YouTube, I need the YouTube studio to be significantly more functional than it is. It's decent right now so far. It's easy enough for me to just grab my microphone, pull it right in front of me, hit record on this, and and then talk. But I always want everything to be set up. I want all this to be set up, ready to go at all times. I need more batteries. I need my batteries to stay charged longer. I want like a data transfer cable from my camera to my computer, so I don't even have to take the camera off that mount. Like in the best case scenario, I would have a gimbal for this thing, and I could airdrop my B-roll to this, and any kind of moving around footage, and then I could leave that right there. Actually, absolute best case scenario, I could leave that right there. I would have this for B-roll, and I would have another camera set up on a different tripod for guitar and music stuff. So definitely not going to make all those moves. That's way too much money spent on cameras for 2021. Yeah, I want this to be set up and as functional as possible at all times. I want it to be super smooth to make a video. Before I started this video, I had to adjust the camera angle on this a couple of times, and then the height of my chair. Just a lot of tests before I actually got to make a video, which is not what you want. Whenever you're feeling creative or whenever you have a video idea and you just want to sit down and pump out the video, the last thing you need is all these technical difficulties getting in the way. So in 2021, I'm going to do my best to up the video quality. I want my audio to be better. I want my video to be better. I want the lighting to be better B-roll. I want the videos as a whole to be more engaging and to keep your guys' attention longer. That's what I'm going for on the video side. Now let's go ahead and talk about my music studio side. Okay, so while this whole room has become more used for YouTube than anything at the moment, it is still in my heart primarily a music studio. Like, I still want to make music out of this studio while I'm making the YouTube videos and everything. I want to make music out of this studio. I think the biggest move I've made so far is acquiring the drums. Okay, these aren't bad drums. They need new heads. I need new cymbals, but it's a good kit. It's got good bones, as some people would say. So I need to update that kind of stuff. But the thing with the drums, okay, this is a huge move, because most people in most home studios are using virtual instruments. You're probably using either Logic stock drums, or there's Addictive drums, or Get Good drums, or Superior Drummer, Easy Drummer, all of them. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're using one of those and you're programming your drums, and that's awesome. I personally enjoy programming my drums. I think it's easy. It's probably going to be easier than recording those things, and they sound better right out of the box. I know for a fact that, like, for some reason there's like this like idea that recording real drums is like the key. But the fact of the reality is, recording real drums probably sucks. I've never personally recorded real drums, and I'm really excited about it. And I know that that's going to add extra life, and it's going to add more characteristics to my songs, because I won't be using the same drum samples as everyone else. But I know it's going to suck. Dealing with phase issues and dealing with bleed from the cymbal mics and from all the other microphones and stuff, I know that's going to be a pain in the butt. So I wholeheartedly expect my drum recordings to sound significantly worse than my virtual instruments at first. However, I'm excited about that. Here's where we're going to have to invest in some gear, okay? I need drum mics, I need drum overheads, which are usually, like, you can buy drum mic kits, but the overheads typically will come separate from the kit, or if you buy some with overheads, the kit is more expensive. I need an interface for that, so drum mics, interface, and probably like 8 to 10 more XLR cables. So that's probably going to be the big primary investment at first as far as music stuff goes. The Shure SM7B could be considered a music investment as well, because I probably will use that for my primary vocal recordings. But getting an interface with 8 preamps and the drum mic kit and all that stuff, that's going to be the primary music investment. I want to move from primarily virtual drums to primarily acoustic drums right here in the studio. I want the sound of this room to be what you're hearing in the songs. Interfaces is like a big deal. Like, this is a big thing to me. Whenever it comes to the idea of investing in myself and investing in this room, investing in my studio and in my projects, I'm not gonna lie, me as like, I'm relatively conservative with my money, and that part of me wants to just buy a Focusrite Scarlett 2nd generation 18i20 interface for $300 on Reverb, and some cables and a $300 microphone kit, and I want to start recording that kit. However, I know that if I do that, I probably will eventually be limited by my gear, or my stuff is just going to suck and I'm going to be really discouraged. However, as I was saying earlier, investing for the future of the studio. I don't know if this is ever going to be a professional full-fledged studio, but I do know that I love the Universal Audio ecosystem. I have my Apollo Twin. I love just the way it functions. I love the console program on my computer. I love Universal Audio plugins. So part of me wants to like sell some stuff that I have, save up for a little while, and buy a Universal Audio X8P. However, we're looking at like a $3,000 expense at that point. I say expense, it's a $3,000 investment. But I just don't know if that's the word for me. I've been looking into the Focusrite Scarlett 18i20 the 3rd gen. It has the air mode, which is pretty cool, and it's also USB-C, so it can go straight into my computer. That's a big deal for me. It has a USB-C port, which I'm sick of my freaking like little USB-C to USB whatever dock that I have for my computer. I hate that thing. I wish I could just find a really nice one of those to put in the back of my desk or mount under my desk and plug everything into that. I probably should have talked about that earlier, but I hate that. I hate this thing. I want it out of sight. The Focusrite Scarlett, that's probably going to be the move, but this is honestly like a part where I really want to know what you guys think. I want to know what kind of interfaces you guys are using, or what kind of like drum mic configurations you guys are using. Are you micing everything, or are you doing like snare, kick, overheads? What's the word? I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what the bare minimum is, and like what like is ideal for recording my drums in my home studio. However, I do also know that every now and then a snare sample or a kick sample is definitely going to be necessary to reinforce either my kick or my snare. Maybe even some tom samples. Stuff like that is very beneficial to have in your recordings, especially like if I were to record some heavier stuff. A lot of the feedback I've gotten from some of my music, specifically on the video that I did with Andrew, a lot of people weren't crazy about the drum samples, and you know, they are good drum samples. Get Good Drums. That sounded really weird, like I was trying to joke. It is Get Good Drums, and they are really good drum samples. However, for some of the music that I do, those are for metal music. So some of the songs I do, those aren't necessarily like appropriate for the music. But if you guys know of any drum samples for the more mellow kind of music, please do let me know about that. I would love to check some of that stuff out as well. Yeah, let's go ahead and moving away from drums. That is the first thing that I want to invest in, I think. The next thing that I want to invest in is my vocal setup. I know that I've already said that the Shure SM7B and a cloud lifter to go with that is definitely right up there at the top of my list, both for my YouTube studio and my music production stuff. But I mean, like, I'm kind of curious if it's worth stepping into the world of outboard preamps. I've looked at some of the warm audio stuff. I've looked at some warm audio mics. I've looked at some, looking at a bunch of different kind of stuff like that. In my opinion, I think the preamp emulations for the universal audio stuff is probably just as good. However, like I said earlier, like I've said many times in this video, I am in that mindset of like I don't want to gyp myself on investments. Like I don't want to settle for the next best thing or for the cheap version of something. So like instead of buying the Neve 1073 preamp emulations for my Apollo, maybe it would be worth looking into some like Warm Audio 73 preamps. And then, honestly, I don't know if that's even gonna make that big of a difference anyway, but I am definitely curious. Do you guys think outboard preamps are something I should look at, or should I just maybe go with the preamp emulations, or should I just go raw vocals and then process it to freaking heck and back and not even worry about it? Like I said earlier, I constantly want to have a mic set up ready to record vocals in there. I want the drums to always be set up. I want the vocals to always be set up. I am satisfied with my guitar tones and my Kemper, as you guys have seen in plenty of my videos. I'm definitely satisfied with the tones I'm getting out of my Kemper. So I'm not necessarily really worried about investing in my my guitar processing. Now guitars, that's a different story. If you want that stereotypical metal sound, you need an EMG 81 in your bridge, and that's gonna be the sound. So I have several guitars that make that sound, and also my wife bought me this cool Jazzmaster kit for Christmas, so be on the lookout for a video for this. I need to diversify my pickup selections. I need to diversify my guitars. There's really no reason for me to have several guitars with EMGs. I have 2 6-string guitars with EMGs that I'm kind of trying to get rid of both of them, to be honest with you. Pretty much all that's just like the long way to say I need to diversify my guitars and their pickup. There's really no need in me having so many guitars with EMGs. It's the same tone that I'm getting out of 4 out of my 6 or 7 guitars that I have. I would really, in an ideal world, I would have a guitar with P90s, a guitar with low output humbuckers, if that's even a thing, like not EMGs, but humbuckers. I would have some Telecaster tones, some Strat tones, some Gretsch tones with the Filtertrons. I would love to have all of that stuff, and I probably will invest into something like that in 2021. It definitely won't be all those models, but I do hope to like widen my guitar tones from the perspective of my guitars. Also, I need to buy a dang bass. I don't have a bass. I want to move away from virtual drums, and I want to move away from virtual basses. And then finally, for my home studio, I want to work on the functionality of it, just like I want to work on the functionality of my YouTube studio. So like I need to rearrange my desk a little bit, especially if I'm going to get a new interface. In an ideal world, I would probably have some kind of side cart for my Kemper, because it's taking up the entire right side of my desk basically. So I'd have some kind of side cart for my Kemper. I would have my Apollo Twin to the right so I can use it for a monitor control and stuff. And then I would have whatever 8 preamp interface I decide to get over here to the left and routed back to the drums. and then maybe into the vocal booth. That would probably be the most ideal setup, so I'm definitely going to try to do that. I feel like that would be much smoother of an experience. But like I said earlier, I want everything always set up. I always want to have a vocal mic set up. I always want to have the drum set up to record. I always want to be able to record guitars. If there's an idea in the room, I don't want any kind of technicalities getting in the way, like I was saying earlier with the YouTube studio, but that also applies just as much to the music studio. I don't like having to set stuff up whenever I feel like creating. That is actually a really huge buzzkill of mine. Okay, so that's everything that I want to do in this home studio for like my YouTube stuff and for my music stuff. And I'm actually in a little bit of a hurry on this outro because my freaking batteries are about to die. See, stuff like this, just little things that you never see on that side of the video. The minute like details and stuff that I have to fix. I don't have enough batteries. I have one extra battery. It's never charged either because I always just have to charge the camera. I don't have a charging station. So stuff like that. I want the vibe in the room to be, well, just vibey. I want to get rid of these old lamps, maybe have some greenery set up on these shelves over here. Maybe rearrange the way the guitars are hung if I don't like that after I get some acoustic panels up. I want this room to be streamlined, and I want this room to be inspiring. 2020 was a really hard year for sure. We all got to spend a whole lot of time at home. We got to work on ourselves. I wish I would have been much more intentional with this kind of stuff towards the beginning of the quarantine. But I mean, I'm doing it now. I'm pumped about it. I'm going to invest in this home studio and in this YouTube channel in 2021. This is going to be my thing. My wife and I are on the same page. We're investing in the YouTube channel in 2021. And I'm super excited about that. I have this whole list of things I want to do, and I'm making this video because I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think needs to change about the room. Let me know if any of my ideas are bad ideas. Let me know any kind of solutions that you guys have found for any kind of particular problems that I have talked about in this video. Smash that like button if you like this video. Hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, or if you want to see all the changes that I'm going to be making to this room. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys have a fantastic 2021. Invest in yourself. I've made this whole video on how I want to invest in myself. You guys invest in yourself. Invest in your projects. Find some kind of fulfillment out there, man. Have a good rest of your day. Peace, guys.